Every day's a school day in carp fishing. It's apparent to me that you don't know everything and there's always something to learn. I work in Chapman's Angling, and only last week I had a customer in there having a general chit chat with me, talking venues, talking about fish, and then obviously my success of this season. And he asked me if I'd done better than the previous season, and I asked him why. The lad then went on to ask me what I'd done differently this season to previous seasons and what I could put my success down to. That stopped me in my tracks and got me thinking what I'd changed, what I'd done. Immediately, straight away, I didn't think I'd done anything differently. But then thinking about it, I've stepped up my game on slight areas, different little bits, putting that extra bit of work in. One of the things I think I owe some of my success to, it's not a rig, it's not bait, it's not a tactic, it's just general conversation. Holding conversation with either a bailiff on the bank, general chit chat in a shop, gets you those extra bits of snippets of information that you might not have. Take for instance Richmond's Lake that I fished. It's a day ticket complex which is pretty local to me, and it wasn't a venue that appealed to me at first until I found out a couple of guys come into the shop. We had a bit of a chit chat about it, figured out the stock, figured out the best times to fish it, and that led on to some great captures for myself. I took the advantage of learning the information out the shop and off these chaps who've been in there, and basically I went out, sussed it out for myself with that little bit of background information, and ended up with great success, taking on my first session a number of fish up to £26 on my first session, my first night on the lake. Now I wouldn't have fished Richmond Lakes if it wasn't for these lads popping into the shop, telling me a few stories, showing me a few pictures. Tackle shops, bailiffs and general chit chat on the bank gets you that extra information that could help you suss out a venue quicker, get a few bites quicker, and just general information about the place. It just goes to show that you can't learn everything on the internet. Asking the right people, the right questions in the right manner could be the biggest edge that you can get, and it has been for me. Another thing that's became apparent to me this season is reacting to the signs. This could lead to an extra capture or even a red letter day. Moving on to showing fish is often written and spoke about, but in reality it's barely practiced. If I'm honest with you, I'm guilty of that too. In previous seasons I've often just wanted to get myself comfortable, set my stall up, hoping the fish would come to me. But from this year I've learnt that being on it and keeping my eyes focused and being able to move, reacting to certain situations does put that extra fish on that bank. This year I stripped my kit right back to the bare minimum, just so it makes life easier for if I need to react, if I see the signs, I'm easily chuck the gear on the barra and off I go. Fishing in this way has really paid off for me this year, and one capture springs to mind. I remember being down at the View, which is my syndicate lake, and it was proper raining cats and dogs, proper coming down, and everybody else sat in the bivvies. I remember just sat at the edge of the swim, in my waterproofs, sat observing the water, and lo and behold, I saw two fish come straight out the water, 3 or 4 pegs down from me. On that, then I reacted, loaded the barra, packed the Tempest up, headed straight off down there. Obviously, get into the swim. Another 2 fish then show, give me the area where I need to be fishing. 5 minutes later, rods are out, and within 10 minutes, 1 fish on the bank, a lovely £25 mirror. One what I may have not caught if I didn't keep my eyes onto the water and didn't react to the signs. So it's always good to react to the signs, keep on it, and it's something that I class as a real massive edge, because it's caught some good bonus fish for me this year. The third thing that I've learnt the importance of this year is accuracy. I gathered that by reading the articles what Kev Hewitt had done. This guy works a spot up, puts 3 rods on it, and gets multiple takes from notoriously hard venues around the country. By doing this, I've put this into my own fishing and use it in my own practice. For a guy who likes to spread his rods about, this was a real big leap of faith for me, putting all my eggs in one basket. So I decided to try it out on my syndicate water, because it was fishing pretty hard at that time. So trying to get a bite, it was worth having a go at doing it. So recalling back to a night on there on the Wall View, I remember going down there, finding a spot, wrapping it round the distant sticks, basically found it, 13 wraps, matched all 3 rods up with that, also the spod rod. I banged a load of bait out, good 5 kilo plus of mixed bits and bobs as you do, and then basically put all 3 rods on that one area within a foot apart. It took quite a while, I think it was 8-9 hours before I got a bite, but then I eventually got a bite, but it wasn't just one bite. All 3 rods decided they wanted to go off. At first I thought, it's the middle rod what's got tangled around another rod and then obviously tangled again, but no, they continued to pull line off. So having to scrap through one fish, then the second and then the third, landed me a trio of lovely fish. And ever since then, I decided to fish this way and just put into practice what I'd learnt from that session and what I'd learnt from Kev's, and carry on doing that throughout the season. And that basically give me that little extra edge over everybody else on that lake that year. That session on the View taught me that it's never too late to add another string to your bow. And it also helps you maybe turn a normal session into a red letter day. And then you've got a few more pictures for the photo album every year.